enthusiasm for the 29th time I've done this. This year. Okay, so the Chateau Bazoches. First of all, the name Bazoches doesn't sound particularly French. This is because it's a derivation of the word basilica. 2,000 years ago, when this was Roman Gaul, there was a Roman administration building here. We're right on that Roman road that I mentioned from Auxerre, and it was going down to Lyon. Now, this is the reason why the chateau is built halfway up the hill. There's usually a chateau like this you build on the top of the hill. But they used the Roman foundations for this building. That's also the reason why, when you look at the ground plan, it's not a square, it's a rather strange shape. The other reason for that is there was originally a moat, and this area being slightly marshy, they used the strong ground, if you like, for the foundations. And so that's why you end up with this rather strange shape. Now, this castle is medieval. The building itself is 12th century. We know it was here in 1190 because that was when Philip August, Richard the Lionheart, left Vézelay. They were going to Jerusalem on the Third Crusade, and they stayed here on the first night. So you're following in their footsteps. Bazoches really hasn't changed very much since the 12th century. It was a man called Jean who built it, Jean de Bazoches. He was the feudal lord here, and the present-day owners can trace their ancestry back to Jean. It's 800 years. That's quite something. When his ghost wanders around at night, he recognises the building, because not very much has changed. The interior decoration has changed, the moat has disappeared, and also the windows. They wouldn't have had big windows like this back in the 12th century because people would fire things through them. It would have been arrow slits, if you like. Now, concerning the moat, that was filled in the mid-1800s, but it wasn't done particularly well, and they started to get damp undermining the foundations. In 1960, they were making a TV documentary here on military matters, and an engineering regiment was brought in, and they were having a look around and saw what was going on. So they brought the whole regiment, 10,000 tonnes of earth was taken out, they redid the foundations and put it all back again. It was all done for free. If you've got the right connections, you can get anything done. So the chateau is still privately owned today. Usually what would happen with a stately home like this is the owners would give it to France, and then France would do all the administration, all the repair work for opening to the public. But Monsieur Sigalas, the Count today, didn't want to be one of the family that after 800 years gave the chateau away. So he decided to go it alone. It was 5 years of work to get to what you're going to see inside, and they opened up in 1995 to the public, so not that long ago. So this room is the guard room. This is where the soldiers were stationed, looking after the entrance to the chateau, and this was restored in 1630. From the archway here, this was the chateau prison originally. If you have a look here, aside from the suits of armour, we've also got an extremely rare medieval strongbox. Yeah, this is where the Lord would have kept his gold. You see the huge key in front of it. That's not a decoration on the lid, that's actually the lock. They're very rare. So, going up into the chateau, a couple of things. If you want to take photographs, it's no problem. Please, no flash, because they've got tapestries and paintings. Also, mind your head. I'm quite short, but that's extremely hard. Yep. The other thing to watch out for when you're wandering around is mind your step, particularly at the top of this little staircase. When you step out into the room, it's like the floor's disappeared. So just watch out for that one. Okay?
This album was made for you.
Which one? This one?
Well, I was just what was I supposed to look at in here?
The most influential.
Around your head? Yes. Stand for the point.
spiral stairs and folds, and that actually is like a handrail, so there's a rope going down.
Lime or peach.
Really? Cool. Okay. So these are two restored drawing rooms. Most of the furnishings in here are from the 17th and 18th centuries. I'll start off with the small drawing room through the archway here. And if you stand on the left-hand side, you should get quite a good view of Vézelay. Now this room is furnished in what we call Louis XVI. Now, the difference between Louis XVI and Louis XIV, you look at Louis XVI, it's virtually contemporary, fairly modern looking. This is all in beech and signed by a master called Jacob, a very famous producer in Paris. We've also got two very famous paintings which have been lent to the Louvre several occasions. On the left-hand side, this is a picture of Marshal Vauban by Rigaud, who is Louis XIV's court painter. And on the right-hand side is a picture from the Veronese studio, and that's Job's Feast. Of course, this is a round room because it's in one of the towers. So the main drawing room is really overshadowed by this huge tapestry. This is an Aubusson tapestry. Aubusson was a sister factory of Gobelin, which was set up to furnish Versailles. It's 17th century, and these are still the original colours. It hasn't been restored. This is why we've got the drapes drawn, to stop it fading. Now, as we wander around today, you're going to see quite a few portraits of ancestors of the present-day family. I'm going to start off with this gentleman here. This was Francois d'Allery. Now, Francois d'Allery was the owner of Bezoche in the year 1789. Does that ring any bells? French Revolution. It wasn't a good thing to be doing, being an aristocrat that year. He was arrested. He was taken up to Paris, and in 1794 he was guillotined. He was 79 at the time. Can you imagine that? Horrific. So the chateau was confiscated, and this is one of the times when it went out of the family. But under Napoleon, when Napoleon came to power, everything military was very important, as you can imagine. And Napoleon really respected this family because of their military tradition, and so he gave the chateau back. And it was Francois's daughter, Charlotte, that then re-inherited the chateau and came back into the family. Now, just think about those dates. 1789, the revolution started with the fall of the Bastille. It was 5 years later he was guillotined. This is what we call the Terror. It was going on and on and on. And eventually even the leaders of the revolution got guillotined themselves, like Robespierre. It always reminds me of the story of the baguette. Now, you know the shape of the baguette. It's a long, thin piece of bread, flat on the bottom where it's been baked in the oven. You never ever give it to somebody in France upside down. It's extremely bad luck. The reason being, if there was a guillotine coming to your town, because they had mobile guillotines, cheaper than building one in every town,